Have you ever been in a relationship that did not just hurt your feelings, but seemed to hurt your whole body too? I want you to really sit with that for a second. Not just sadness, not just stress. I mean headaches that would not quit, tight muscles, stomach issues, skin flare ups, deep tiredness. That weird brain fog where even simple things feel hard. If that has happened to you, you are not imagining it. And if you have lived through this kind of abuse, you already know the body keeps score in ways people around you may never fully understand. Stay with me, because this is where a lot of people finally connect the dots. A toxic relationship can quietly wear down your health while making you blame yourself for falling apart. That is the trap. You think you are weak. You think you are lazy. You think something is wrong with you. But what if your body has been reacting exactly the way a body reacts when it lives under non-stop pressure? What if your symptoms are not random at all? That is what we are getting into. And if any part of this sounds familiar, listen all the way through, because the last part may be the piece that helps everything make sense. Can this kind of abuse literally make you physically sick? From what many survivors describe, and from what stress does to the body in general, the answer looks like yes. A relationship like this is not just emotionally hard, it is a stress factory. It keeps your system activated. Your body releases stress hormones again and again, and that affects sleep, mood, appetite, immune strength, inflammation, pain levels, and energy. If you already have health issues like asthma, autoimmune problems, diabetes, migraines, or stomach trouble, stress can make them worse. If you are facing something more serious, ongoing stress can make treatment harder too, because it becomes difficult to rest, stay organized, take medication on time, and keep any sense of hope. And here is the part that makes this so dangerous. The decline is often slow. It sneaks up on you. You may not wake up one day and say, "This relationship is making me sick." Instead, you just notice that over time you feel less like yourself. You catch every cold. Your body aches more. Your chest gets tight. Your mind feels dull. You are worn down, but you keep pushing. That is why this matters. When people do not understand emotional abuse, they often miss the physical cost of it too. There is a direct path here, and it is important to understand. Long-term stress changes how the body works. It can affect immune function. It can affect inflammation. It can affect how the nervous system responds to danger. And in a toxic relationship, danger is not always loud. Sometimes it is the silence. Sometimes it is the criticism you know is coming. Sometimes it is waiting for the next lie, the next insult, the next mood swing, the next cruel joke, the next moment where reality gets twisted and you are told you are the problem. That kind of stress is not a one-time event. It can go on for years. Sometimes it starts in childhood and then shows up again in adult relationships. That is why people can feel like they have been carrying this forever. Their body never really gets to stand down. It stays alert. It stays braced. And when that happens for long enough, the body pays a price. Your muscles stay tight. Your digestion gets thrown off. Your sleep gets lighter. Your immunity gets weaker. Your mind gets cloudy. What makes it harder is that other people may minimize it. They may say, "Everyone has relationship stress." They may tell you to stop overthinking. But this is not normal stress. It is chronic, confusing, and deeply wearing. And when your experience gets dismissed, that can make the strain even worse. There is also an indirect path, and honestly, this one hits hard because so many survivors know it too well. When you are in a draining relationship, self-care often collapses. Not because you do not care, because you are exhausted. You forget your medication. You miss appointments. You stop eating well. You sleep badly. You move less. Or you run on caffeine and nerves and pure survival mode. You start living with this quiet feeling of, what is the point? That feeling is deadly over time. The person hurting you is usually not going to remind you to care for yourself. In fact, many toxic people expect care from everyone else while showing little real care in return. So you keep showing up for them and disappearing from your own life. And slowly, your health routines fade. You do not get checkups. You ignore symptoms. You postpone rest. You tell yourself you will deal with it later, but later keeps moving. This is one reason these relationships can feel like they steal years from your life. When your nervous system is stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, your body is running hot all the time. It is like driving a car without ever stopping for repair. The engine can keep going for a while, then one day it starts breaking down. If that image feels familiar, keep listening, because the next piece explains why so many people say they no longer feel sharp, strong, or fully alive. A lot of survivors talk about brain fog, and it is more than being distracted. It is that heavy, strange feeling where you cannot think clearly, cannot focus, cannot find the right word, cannot trust your own mind. That matters because abuse already creates self-doubt. Then brain fog shows up and makes you doubt yourself even more. You forget something, you get confused, you lose your train of thought, and suddenly you wonder if maybe the other person was right about you all along. But this fog can be part of what happens when your system is overloaded for too long. If you grew up in a home like this, you may have had physical symptoms early on: stomach aches, headaches, rashes, frequent colds, trouble sleeping. A child may not know how to say, "I am under emotional siege," but the body often says it first. Children walking on eggshells around impossible adults do not just feel scared, they get worn out. And that pattern can follow them into later life. So if you have ever looked back and realized your body was struggling long before you had the language for why, that realization matters. It can help you stop blaming yourself. It can help you see the pattern. And once you can see it, you can begin to protect yourself differently. Do not click away yet, because this next part gets even more real. We need to talk about pain that stays. One thing many survivors report is chronic pain. And this is where people often feel especially unseen. Chronic pain is pain that keeps going, even after the original injury has healed, or even when no simple cause can be found. It is real. It is not fake. It is not drama. And it can take over your life. Work becomes hard. Sleep becomes hard. Even enjoying one normal day can feel out of reach. Now think about what happens in a toxic relationship. You tense your muscles. You hold your breath. You brace for the next blow, the next attack, the next cold look, the next accusation. Your body learns vigilance. Your stress hormones surge. Your mind never fully relaxes. And pain gets louder in a body that is always on alert. On top of that, many people in these relationships do not get proper medical care when they need it. They delay help. They recover alone. They do not get support after illness or surgery. So healing can be harder from the start. Then pain lingers. Then shame creeps in. Then other people say, maybe it is just in your head. That combination is brutal because someone already trained to doubt themselves now starts doubting even their own pain. If this sounds familiar, hear me clearly. Your pain deserves to be taken seriously. And yes, the relationship may be playing a larger role than many people want to admit. What makes this even more complicated is that emotional pain and physical pain are not as separate as people like to think. The brain does not always file heartbreak in one box and body pain in another neat box. Pain is pain. Rejection hurts. Fear hurts. Humiliation hurts. Living in a space where you are gaslit, mocked, ignored, blamed, or emotionally abandoned can become a daily wound. Not a one-time wound, a repeating wound, a broken heart that does not get to close. So when people say, this relationship is a pain in the neck, sometimes that is almost literal. The neck gets tight, the back seizes up, the jaw locks, the stomach churns, the head pounds. And the cruel part is that many systems around you may still miss the link. Health providers may focus only on the physical symptom in front of them. Friends may tell you to relax. Family may tell you to be grateful. But cutting down your exposure to toxic people may do more for your pain than many people realize. That is not a magic fix. It does not erase years of strain overnight, but it matters. If your body is constantly reacting to threat, less threat can mean less pain. Not instantly, not perfectly, but meaningfully. And now we need to talk about one of the biggest hidden symptoms of all, the one many people carry in silence every single day: fatigue. This fatigue is not just being sleepy. It is not something a quick nap fixes. It is a deep weariness. It is the exhaustion of speaking and not being heard, of telling the truth and being told your reality is wrong, of trying harder and harder and still never being enough. It is like climbing and never reaching the top. No reward, no relief, no clear endpoint. That kind of life drains a person at the core. And the fatigue is not only physical, it is emotional, mental, existential. You may sleep for 8 or 9 hours and still wake up feeling heavy. You may look tired even after resting. You may lose interest in things you used to enjoy. You may move slower, think slower, hope less. And people around you might give painfully simple advice. Get more sleep, drink water, take a day off. They do not understand that this kind of tiredness comes from living in a state of chronic emotional strain. It is the tiredness of futility. The tiredness of always managing someone else's chaos. The tiredness of never feeling safe enough to fully exhale. If that is what you are dealing with, please do not make the mistake of calling yourself lazy. Your body may be trying to survive something your mind has been forced to normalize. That is why naming it matters. It does not solve everything, but it can stop some of the shame. And once you see the pattern, a little acceptance can help. Not the kind of acceptance that says, this treatment is fine. Not that. I mean the kind that says, this is what I am dealing with, and I need to stop expecting this person to suddenly become safe, kind, aware, and caring. That expectation alone can drain so much energy. Every time you hope this will be the day they understand, and they do not, your body pays for that disappointment too. So part of healing fatigue is reducing the shock, reducing the fantasy, reducing the endless emotional investment in an outcome that may never come. Be kind to yourself. Pull back where you can. Cut down the noise. Skip the extra pressure. Let some things be simple. Eat the easy meal. Cancel the non-essential plan. Stop comparing yourself to people performing perfect lives online. When your system is depleted, survival basics matter. Also, rule out medical causes. Always do that. Fatigue can come from many conditions, and you deserve real care. But if the medical side is checked, and you are still carrying this heavy fog, do not ignore the relationship factor. It may be a major piece of the puzzle. And one more thing. Do not go to the toxic person looking for comfort about your exhaustion. Many of them will only use it against you, mock it, or make you feel guilty for it. So what do you actually do if you are in a relationship like this and cannot leave right away? First, get your health checked. Regular physicals matter. Screenings matter. Preventive care matters. Do not wait until your body is screaming. Catch what you can early. Stay on top of medications. Learn your family health history if you can, because knowing your risks helps you protect yourself better. If there are illnesses that run in the family, that matters even more when you are living under severe stress. Take basic health steps seriously. Sleep where and when you can. Eat more steadily. Move your body in ways that feel possible. Protect yourself during times when illness is spreading, because stress can weaken resistance, and toxic people are not usually reliable caretakers when you are sick. Make a real plan for support. If you ever get seriously ill, who will drive you? Who will check in? Who can help with appointments, food, practical care? Please do not build that plan around someone who has already shown you they do not have your back. This is not pessimism, it is preparation. And yes, therapy can help too. Not because therapy is a magic wand, but because having one safe place to process stress, learn coping tools, and reconnect with your own reality can be life-changing. Little by little, you start choosing yourself again. If you are listening to all of this and thinking, this is exactly what happened to me, I want you to hear one more thing. You are not overreacting. You are not weak. You are not making it up. And you are not failing because your body is struggling. Many people come out of these relationships shocked by how fast certain symptoms improve once they create distance. The pain eases a little. The mind gets clearer. The sleep gets deeper. The body does not feel quite so under attack. That does not mean the damage was imaginary. It means the stress was real. Sometimes people think healing has to be dramatic and instant. Often it is quieter than that. A little less tension in the shoulders. One decent night of sleep. Fewer stomach knots. A moment of calm that feels unfamiliar but good. Those small signs matter. They tell you your body has been waiting for safety. And if leaving is not possible right now, boundaries, disengagement, lower expectations, and more private self-protection can still help. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough to give your system some air. And sometimes that little bit of air is the start of everything. If this hit home for you, sit with it. Think about your symptoms differently. Think about your body with more compassion. Because the truth is simple. A toxic relationship can hurt your health, and your health is worth protecting.